Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for a live chat. Um, I wanted to see where you guys and what you guys are doing. Let's see here. Um, see if you guys are up. Anybody? Because I know a lot of you guys aren't. I mean, if you get the notification at all, we got one on the chat. If you guys come in, hit that like button. Um, I wanted to talk about the recent fights that we've had the weekend, and I'm not proud to say that I didn't catch them, but I am glad that they weren't these spectacular fights, because I would hate to miss really good fights, because to experience that, it's worth living. I'm a guy that I call fights. I love to call fights. That's one of my passions. It's been one of my passions before I even really knew it was one. I just knew when I was younger, if I couldn't be a boxer, I could be a boxing commentator and still be involved in boxing to that degree. Calling fights, watching fights, the excitement that you get when you're watching a fight and someone gets caught. The only thing better than that, calling fights live from my house, is calling fights or watching a fight live, at the arena in person. It's nothing like that. That is probably the most surreal moments of my life. And the first professional fight that I actually went and got the pleasure to watch was in where was I? I was 19 years old, and I had a boss at the time because I was at work. And I had a boss at the time was like, "Hey man, yeah, I'll take you over there." So we walked through the River Dome, and these were female fighters. All of these were female fighters. So you had fighters like Christy Martin, Maritas. I don't remember Mia St. John. I don't think she was there. Um, Christy Martin was there, and I mean, in very good fights, bro. And I've seen fights, on the undercard that you really wouldn't see live anyhow. That was the beauty of watching fights live, because the undercard fights, some of those are real gems, real gems. So when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with a lot of um, unexpected fights, unexpected excitement that you will never see on TV. You only watching it live, because again, they're not televised. They're just fights that happen, to keep the audience up. These guys are still getting paid. They're still risking their lives. They just get less exposure. You know what I mean? So, but no, I mean, the fight game I've always had a love for, bar none. So that being said, it's like, hey, I love fights. So calling fights is one of my joys. One of the best things that I like to do. One of my passions, calling boxing matches, reviewing, doing recaps on boxing matches and things like that, Um, let's see here. We got Pius MD. Hello, Pius. Ed Ellerby. Yo, counterpunch to you. I want to take this last hour or two because I'm trying to surf within the algorithms of lives, because I'm going live tomorrow at 11 a.m. when we talking about Mr. Unified Heavyweight Champion Usyk. So stay tuned for that. But, I wanted to reach out to you guys because, man, I've been really just kind of chilling, doing exactly what I said I was going to do. Ate great, got my water intake, went to the gym. I did all that stuff, and then like, it's been a very chill day, very blessed day, and got me a little shut eye. So now I'm kind of up. I'm kind of up and at 'em, So it is what it is. But no, I have to remind people on the fighters that we looked up to. And what's happened to boxing? Boxing is becoming interesting because there's no head, it looks like. There's no head. There is just fighters, which can be a good thing. It's definitely an humbling thing when you think about it. Everybody talked about Tank like he's unbeatable. But understand, Tank put himself in positions, and the people around Tank made it possible and easier for Tank to appear a lot better than he is. You know what I mean? So just want to say Bakali will KO Moses if he steps up. Ruthless. You know what? I was just looking at that. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Conrad Francis, member in the building. Counterpunch to you, Conrad. Moses Atoma versus Mark Bakali. I like that conversation, and I like that discussion because Mark Bakali is now perceived to be high on the totem pole. He's like, now he's that guy that's like, look, he'll give anybody problems, which I think he can and will if not win. But the thing is, we've also seen him in vulnerable states. We've seen Mark Bakali not at his best too many times now. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, they say. But 2 out of 3 is bad when it comes to watching the same stuff that we shouldn't be saying or seeing. Can Mark Bakali lose weight? I think he can. Yes, he's on the redemption list because he can't lose weight. Because he hasn't showed us that he wants to. Ed Ellerby, what happened to Germaine Franklin? It seems like his career is falling off a cliff. It's not falling off. This is what happened to Germaine Franklin. This is easy to explain. Germaine Franklin got 2 paydays, one from the Dillian White fight, and then a bigger one from the Anthony Joshua fight. And I call it the Andy Ruiz effect. The Andy Ruiz effect happens to these fighters that are accustomed to maybe $10,000 fights, $20,000 fights, maybe even $50,000 fights, maybe at some times, if that. And then all of a sudden, you know, their name gets dropped out of a hat, and, you know, and money falls from the sky with opportunity to fight these guys that they're now getting $300,000 or $400,000, or maybe even close to an M. And when they get that type of money, it's money that they've never seen before. And since they never seen before, a lot of people, and I think he's one of them, I hope he's one of them, that when he gets that type of money, he knows how to invest it. So since he knows how to invest it, he knows how to, hey, you know what? I'm going to put this money up because I've just cleared $300,000. I've never had this type of money before. I've never had this type of money in my banking account. And by God, I'm going to make it stay there, and I'm going to do the right thing with it. And I think that's what Germaine Franklin's done. It isn't the fact that he stopped fighting. It's the fact that he's not as hungry as he used to, because he's not fighting for $10,000 and $15,000 no more. If he fought Dillian White, I don't even know what his fight purse was, but I think it was somewhere on the grounds of maybe 500,000, maybe 600,000. You know, Samuel Cossington, counterpunch to you. I'm doing good. King Mike in the building. AAR, Kurt, you've been working out a little bit. I worked out yesterday. Well, today. But no, Germaine Franklin, he's just not an idiot with his money. I think Ruiz really got that lottery ticket. You know what I mean? He got 5 to 6 million, maybe 7. And I do believe that Ruiz got the same amount of money that Jarrell would have made. So since Andy got that type of money, I think his ceiling was so high that he didn't really know what to spend and how to spend it. And he might have ended up spending too much. But still, the same thing happened. He got comfortable. The J. Roots theory in the building. Are you up in the Lubis? Are you up in the Lubis? He's probably up in the clouds. Andy Ruiz is a funny guy. But no, Germaine Franklin, and when he fought Joshua and he probably cleared another 400,000 or 500,000, Germaine Franklin probably has about, now I don't like to be counting people's money. I'm just happy that these guys are getting this opportunity. That's why I'm mentioning it. All right. So I bet you You know, no hate or anything like that. I bet you Germaine Franklin probably has over $500,000 in the bank. And that's probably just from those 2 fights. And he's fought 2 or 3 times since then. A lot of people don't know. He fought the undefeated fighter. He fought him in Jill Bratter or whatnot. He fought him there, and then he fought another guy in his hometown. Right, so yeah, he's getting fights now. He's now headlining in his own world. So it's almost like if I co-star with Denzel Washington, now I've done that and I've broken out, but I'm still not a star, but I've got notoriety from that movie. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing smaller stuff, right, where I am the star in that movie, and I'm not co-signing or principal acting in someone else's movie when they're the star. That's what Germaine Franklin's doing. So he doesn't have to be, oh man, who is he going to fight the next big guy? I don't think he cares about that as long as he's fighting. Because remember something about Germaine Franklin. He has to be doing something in the right direction because he quit his job at the steel mill. Okay, he no longer works at the steel mill because of the opportunities like Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. So fair play to Germaine Franklin. So I hope that answered your question about Germaine Franklin there. Dubois Usyk, who you got, Kurt? I'll let you know in a few weeks because I have to watch those guys fight. Germaine Franklin also fought Anthony Joshua. He got money from there too. Yep. You guys remember that riot after that fight? You remember the riot after that fight where AJ he clinged on and he wouldn't let go of the back of Germaine Franklin's head, and he still kept talking shit. You know what I mean? And he almost caused a riot in the ring, bro. You know, and then that let me know that AJ wasn't still where he needed to be mentally. He wasn't there. He was bitter. He was mean. You know, he was kind of in his feelings about some stuff still. Maybe the Usyk loss, the second loss to Usyk, you know, because he's never lost back-to-back before, you know. So I think back-to-back losses for AJ would crush him. So in other words, if Dubois beats Usyk, and then then Joshua fights Dubois again and gets beat, I think that'll fuck him up. I think he'll retire after that. That'll be the 5th loss, and that'll be, you know what, pass the torch. There's no more fire for you, chum. Leave it alone. You know, open some brothels, a couple apartments, you know, a couple Starbucks in Dubai, and call it a night. That's what, if I'm AJ, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to have me some fun. I'm going to work out for fun. I'm going to hang around Andrew Tate and them cats and talk about money and other misogynistic like shit. That's it, man. Ruiz needs a fight soon. I like that tag Andy Ruiz Bacali. Yeah. I mean, that's all he's doing. It's the Andy Ruiz effect. I think it's a lot bigger. You know, it's like Benedict Arnold. You know, it's like cheating, saying the Antonio Margarito. Some of those things are good. Some of them are not good at all. You know, I don't think Andy Ruiz can fight no more. He enjoys Mexican pizza and etc. So fat. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think if Andy still has money, because you have to keep him to a fact. Andy probably cleared. Let's just be real. Andy fought AJ for $7 million. Andy probably cleared about 3. Taxes took probably half. Then he had to pay the rest of the, you know, he had to pay his team. He had to pay sanctioning fees for all those damn belts. He had to pay other little bullshit, you know. That all comes out the purse. So Andy probably cleared about 2.8. So you're looking at a guy that has $2.8 million in the bank, which he didn't have before. He's probably spending money like no tomorrow. Then he finds out that he's getting the rematch, because at first, you know, he didn't want to rematch AJ. He wanted to call the shots. He wanted to make the fight in California and shit like that. And I don't trust the UK. I don't trust the British. I'm not going over there. They do some funky, shady stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not this and not that. Well, Eddie Hearn pressed the issue, made it rightfully so. Like, look, you signed a contract, Andy. You begged us for this fight. You beat AJ, but you signed a contract. So contractually, you must fight us, or you would more than likely be sued. And we will win because we have the writing. We have it in writing. So then good old Al Heyman, right? Now this is where Al Heyman came in. Al Heyman tweaked the amount of money that Andy got. So he didn't get 7 million no more. He got 13. So now the second fight, you're coming in headliner, right? Ruiz, Joshua 2 in Saudi Arabia. Andy Ruiz got 13 million. So you wonder why Andy Ruiz, he got outboxed all night long. You know what I'm saying? He probably was 300 pounds. He probably had to work that off. But he was right at 300. He was up there with Zhang and Bakoli and all that, but he's like hella shorter, which doesn't look good for a short person. And he lost. And he disappeared. But understand, after that 13 million, how much money you think he cleared? Maybe about 6.3. So you're looking at a guy that nearly has $10 million in the bank. So someone with $10 million, he ain't trying to do shit. Especially when that happened late 19. So early 2020, everybody knows that COVID hit. So when COVID hit and that took place, people wasn't doing anything anyway. Sure, he was training and he was doing this and that and the other, but boxing was still trying to strive, you know what I mean? And people were still trying to make fights, and people were trying to adapt to, the little cardboard faces, which I think was actually kind of sad. They kind of had the people at cardboard that wasn't there for the people that's supposed to be there. That was kind of sad to me. Thought that was weird. But Andy turned down the Dillian White fight for $4 million. So he could have made more money, but he was comfortable. Because again, you're looking at somebody that has 10 million in the bank. Then he totally just dismisses Luis Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz asked him, like, well, I thought you wanted to fight the best, Andy. So imagine if Andy would have beat AJ. If he would have beat AJ, the heavyweight division would have been shit. If he would have beat AJ a second time, AJ would have fell from grace. There would be no more talks about AJ and Wilder. It didn't really matter now because they never fought. But nonetheless, Andy wouldn't have fought anybody. Those belts would have slowly been stripped away. He probably would have ended up keeping the WBC. The IBF would have left a long time ago because he would have had to fight Pulev, and he probably wouldn't have been prepared to fight Pulev. Because he mentioned something about a damn surgery, but I think that was a year after. Then next, probably the WBO, then the WBA, and the WBC doesn't give a shit anyway because Mauricio does whatever he wants to do with his sanctioning body. So, Yeah, he Vargas in Detroit. Germaine Franklin fought Anthony Joshua. He got 8 million in the Anthony Joshua fight. So if Germaine Franklin got 8 million, Germaine Franklin, now you understand why you ain't seen for him. He's not hungry. It's the Andy Ruiz effect, but he got more than what Andy Ruiz got in the first fight. But understand, those were 2 different times. But so, yes, so therefore I'm happy for Germaine Franklin. Germaine Franklin is set. Germaine Franklin probably eating elk steaks and shrimp and lobster. He's good. He bought him another house. He quit his job. Come on now. Joshua versus Fury or Wilder is likely next. Joshua versus Fury. Or Wilder is likely next. I don't know. Carlos, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Waco in the building. Andy Ruiz was a world champion. He made more money than Germaine Franklin. Yeah, I mean, because he fought AJ twice, because he beat AJ the first time. So yeah. Is it true BBC is teaming up with Top Rank? I hear that. I haven't read anything about it. I've just heard you guys talk about it live. I haven't heard anything. Not saying it's not true. I just haven't heard anything. You don't know much about war. Ruiz versus Joshua in Mexico City. Ruiz clears $40 million. Yeah, he doesn't have to fight again after that. He'll probably pull some Tyson Fury shit. And if that happens, you know, you'll probably see the skinniest Andy Ruiz you ever seen. You ever see the skin? You either gonna see the skinniest Andy Ruiz you ever seen, or you're gonna see the fattest. Yeah, that's what you're gonna see when you're dealing with Andy. You give Andy 40 million, he'll never fight again. I'm retiring from the sport of boxing. I'm going to become a pizza franchise owner, and I'm going to open a couple gyms. I'm going to have some more kids. Yeah. AJ should do one last show with Tyson Fury and both retire after that match. Why not? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Now, Andy will never fight again, bro. Andy Ruiz will never fight again. The hell is that? AJ got embarrassed in America. He needs a win in America. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering whenever, you know, you don't really hear Eddie. You know, Eddie only responds to that when someone asks him. He never follows up on that shit. If you notice, Eddie never follows up on, hey, are you ever coming back to the States with Anthony Joshua to headline a fight at some venue, somewhere? You know. AJ got beat up and started riding bikes around New York and shit. So, you know, sure, he got paid 20 million or whatever he got paid. He got paid a lot of money to come to the States, but he lost. He lost all the belts. He had the three. He had the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, and he lost them all to Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is on top of the world. His life changed. You know, I'm glad. I'm really happy for Andy. But Andy is a result. He's it just goes to show you he's an example of somebody that gets blessed and how to handle and how not to handle certain situations. Fury and Joshua don't like each other much. Fight probably doesn't happen. Kamal, I hope Ruiz will fight again because he still has the fastest hands and the best combinations. He does have fast combinations. I think he's always going to have that. He's just a fast, fat man. Kurt, a question for you. How many millions will you want to be happy? Maybe 10, 5 to 10. I mean, millions as far as money goes. To be happy, I mean, I'm going to tell you guys something. Unless you're dealing with some kind of strange mental illness, like some kind of depression due to whatever abuse you went through as a kid, if you don't have shit like that going on in your life, it will be amazing to know every bill paid in your life. If you looked at your bills for a month, for, you know, and like your house note, because I got a mortgage, car note, I got a car note, Insurance. I got insurance. Like, to know all of those bills are paid off, that releases so much stress from your body. So yeah, so what could do that? I mean, a lot less could do that. But at the same time, with $5 or $10 million, you could pay for your shit. You could pay for your car. You could pay your car note off. Shit, you could buy another car or another truck and have that paid for. You could pay for your house. You don't have to worry about a mortgage, maybe HOA or taxes, of course. You know what I mean? You got to pay taxes. But if you know you owe nothing and you don't have to pay but shit, $200 a month for like cell phone bills and maybe car insurance. Yeah, yeah, it's amazing what that can do to your mental mindset, right? So yeah, I mean, but then again, you have people with 30 million, they're not happy, you know. So it is what it is, but still, nah. JD, Somebody said, man, somebody paid all your bills. Oh, thank you, Jesus. You know, half the stuff I wouldn't even really, because I mean, that a lot of things from day to day. But I think there's a flip side. I think the same thing happened to Tyson Fury. When Tyson Fury found out, I no longer have to struggle. I no longer have to hustle. I no longer have to grind, because maybe, just maybe, that was contingent on what I have to do that gives me skulls. That gives me small goals every day. So that could be the case, and a lot of people end up depressed because it's like, I don't have anything to get up for. I don't have any goals. Dude, it should be nobody out here hitting horns and shit. So yeah, it would be amazing to have all your bills paid for and then have money in the bank. Then you could really do stuff. But then, like, what kind of life could you have? The kind of life that you would have to make at that point, because there's nothing that you would normally do that you normally have to do based on your normal life. So yeah, it is something that you really have to think about. See, a lot of people can't handle a lot of money. Sometimes you want to destroy somebody, give them $2 million. Thank you, bro. Here you go. Here's $2 million. They'll probably be dead in a month because they probably can't handle the pressure of having that amount of money. That's why it's not a good thing for someone to have a lot of money. Bishop Desmond, Tyson Fury net worth is $500 million, 400 million pounds. Double AR, Dillian White disappeared. Strange. No, he's training right now. Dillian White's training right now. He ain't disappeared. Mac, yo, Kurt, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm tranquil. I'm just chilling. Usyk said Anthony Joshua is still richer than him. I mean, he's made a lot of money. You have to realize, for years, AJ made multi-million-dollar purses. 20 million, 25 million. Hell, the rematch with Andy Ruiz, he probably cleared about 65 million. It's supposed to have been reported 85 million. And Andy got the 13. But of course, there's taxes, and of course he had to pay everybody, all those guys, those older gentlemen in those damn suits, those expensive Brook Brothers suits and shit that's sitting ringside. You don't know who the hell they are. Yeah, they're all millionaires because of AJ. He's made millionaires based off those fights and those investments. Kurt, what's your prediction on Fisher versus Allen? I have Fisher decision. I have Fisher decision too. Mac. And I'm going to tell you why. I hate fights like that should have went a certain way but didn't, because this is all that's going to happen in that fight. Fisher's just going to do better than he did in the first fight and get a decision again. Because all it is they didn't want to give someone that's coming back to the sport, someone that retires as much as Tyson Fury does, to get a win over someone that's undefeated. There's no way in hell. He's a matchroom fighter. Do you think they want that to happen? You think they want Dave Allen, someone with 6 or 7 losses, to beat someone on paper, like Fisher, that is a guy that's undefeated, that they're pushing. He's probably a great white hope type of fighter, that they don't have many fighters like that. So they need to protect that image of that particular fighter. So guess what? Matchroom needed to pull some strings. They pulled rank. So guess what? Johnny Fisher won that by decision, by default, because he was protected. He had the right promoter, Eddie Hearn. He was at the right promotional company, Matchroom. So there is no way in hell he was going to lose to Dave Allen, the White Rhino. No way in hell. Unless Dave Allen knocks him out and upsets the apple cart. But he's going to do better than he did last time. If there's no knockdowns, there's nothing like that, the fight will go the same way it went before, by decision. Period. Usyk said it was the second fight of Anthony Joshua that actually made him rich in boxing and changed his life forever. Yeah, well, he beat him twice, so I mean, I think that speaks for itself. It's only one white rhino. But yeah, Dave Allen, they did him wrong. They did him wrong, bro. You know, Fury should fight Caballo. I'm not against that fight. I feel like Fisher's going to be more measured and win the decision. Well, he's going to be careful because he knows that Dave Allen can hurt him. And because he knows he can hurt him, he's not going to fight him and be all gung-ho like he was before. And that's how he got caught in the first place. He got caught with a shot that he thought that would never hurt him like that. And boy, was he wrong. But understand something to this magnitude. Understand this. They have other fighters that hit a lot harder than Dave Allen. Dave Allen is just a seasoned heavyweight that's been in there with damn near everybody. And what's going to happen is Johnny Fisher's going to get knocked out on down the line. Basically, what we saw in the Dave Allen fight is just foreshadows what's going to happen with Johnny Fisher in his career. That's it. That's all that is. So we've seen him dropped by Dave Allen. That means he's going to get knocked out by somebody else later on. And it may be sooner than you think. So don't sweat it. Johnny Fisher, hopefully they can push him, promotional wise to that extent that they want to push him to. But nonetheless, he's going to go. Somebody has his number because I don't think he has the best chin. And because of that, he's going to get knocked out. Somebody's going to hit him and hurt him and stop him. Fisher won the fight outright. Okay, whatever. How about John Fury versus Don Charles? I think there'll be a pretty dangerous fight between, two big older dudes like that are very aggressive and very emotional, very high-strung. I don't think that fight will happen the way we think it's going to happen. If John Fury and Don Charles ever get into an altercation, it's going to be a street fight like setting. It's not going to be like in a boxing ring or no official shit like that. No, it's going to be John Fury getting close enough to Don Charles. Don Charles is going to be revving at John Fury, and John Fury may try to headbutt him. Then if George Fox is there, that big ass son of Don Charles, he's going to jump in it. And then if Shane is anywhere around, he's going to jump in it. And I think it's going to be one of those kind of riot-like brawls, Fury has boxing, a penitentiary experience. I want Dubois to give good low blows to Usyk, which is legal. I mean, I think it's all about the ref, man. They talked all that shit about psychology and who he tricked. It's all about the referee, man. It's all about the referee. That's it. People say it wasn't a low blow are just delusional. MMG, there's a lot of delusional people then. Martin McCauley talk shit, but he is nowhere near Anthony Joshua's legacy. He needs to kiss Anthony Joshua's feet. No, he don't. He just needs to make an amends of himself because he's already put himself in a situation that people expect him to beat these guys because he said he's already beat these guys. He's got experience with many rounds of sparring and hurting these guys, so he must do what he said that he's already done. That's the problem with Martin McCauley. I'll have Huni by decision. If he beats Fabio Wardley, you know, Jarrell Miller's going to cringe. Atoma might be fighting McCauley. Yeah, the more they talk about it, Jay Roos, the more it may happen. You know how that shit goes. You know, all it takes is them to call the man, call Turkey Al-Sheikh. He knows both guys. He knows McCauley and he knows Atoma. And then I think he knows McCauley is a guy that's tough, but he also knows Atoma is a guy that's looking for opportunity. So he may be interested enough and intrigued enough to put that fight on. So that may happen. That's Usyk's blow wasn't a low blow. It was a hot fire punch. Daniel wins next fight. I think McCauley wins. It may be too much for Moses Atoma, but we'll see. McCauley's still living high off that Anderson fight. I don't think, and I don't know why he should, and he should not, because that being said, that victory might have got him knocked out by Joseph Parker. Dubois got on his knees by a jab and refused to continue. He didn't want anything. He didn't want anything. McCauley thrashes Atoma. Well, I mean, if he does, he does. You know, it's like Drago. If he dies, he dies. All right? Time to go. Take care, Kurt, brother. JD, you're out. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm going to, I'm actually going to call it a night myself. But you guys, man, be blessed. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. noon, or 11 a.m., an hour before noon. And everyone has been counterpunched. Mac. Well, you know what? Yes, I'm still on the carnivore diet. Yeah. I'm not sold on McCauley. He hasn't beat a top name. Jared Anderson was good, but not great. Okay. Ring Walk Boxing Podcast in the building. Counterpunch to you, brother. Well, on that, guys, I am out. I will see you guys at 11 in probably less than 12 hours from now. You guys be good, stay safe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace!